Welcome to ESL Top 10. I am Nessa. Thank you so much for watching this lesson. One of the very first things I ever talked about with my partner, my boyfriend, was our childhoods. Questions like, where are you from? Where did you grow up? What kind of childhood did you have? It's one of those topics of conversation that comes up again and again, whether you're talking to your best friend or your own kids. So that's why in this lesson, we're going to look at some really useful phrases and verbs you can use to describe your childhood. So we're going to jump right in and look at a phrasal verb that you probably already know and hopefully you are using in your English. To grow up. To grow up means to get older, to become mature, to go from being a child to an adult. So it's very common to describe maybe where you grew up. You could use a sentence like, I grew up in Canada, or I grew up mostly in Ottawa. The next one is like grow up, except we often use it in the passive voice. I'm going to give you two verbs here because they have the exact same meaning. So you can raise a child or bring up a child. And both of these verbs mean to take care of, to nurture, to teach, to feed, to help, to mentor. So we use it in the passive voice because we often say, I was raised or I was brought up in Ottawa or Toronto or South Korea. I was brought up. Or you could say also, I was brought up to be a hard worker, or I was raised to be honest, or I was brought up to respect my elders. So often bring up and raise are used in the passive voice. Now the next one, I just said it actually, to take care of. This verb means to, again, similar, it means to care for, nurture, teach, watch, protect, feed. So you can take care of something, but you can also take care of someone. So for example, when I was younger, both my parents worked. So often my grandmother would take care of me during the day when my parents were working. Take care of. Now, it doesn't have to be about your childhood. I could just say something simple like, hey, can you take care of my bag? I'm going to run to the washroom. Or I'm going to take care of my friend's apartment this week. Take care of. Now, the next one is another phrasal verb. So it's a main verb with a preposition or prepositions, to take after someone. To take after someone means to resemble, maybe to have a similar personality or similar physical looks, usually a parent. I'll give you a few examples. I could say that I take after my mother. We're very similar in our tastes, our likes, dislikes, our personality. I could also say I take after my father. We both have brown hair and brown eyes. So it could be physical or personality. Now, you can also use this expression with take after. I could say, I take after my mom, but I have my dad's eyes. Now, the next one is also with the preposition after. It's a phrasal verb, to name someone after someone. So this means that someone has given another person a name because someone else has the same name. So you could be named after your father. So maybe you share the same first or middle name. You could be named after a famous poet or perhaps an athlete. I was named after my aunt, my mother's sister, because my middle name, believe it or not, is Penelope. So to name after someone. Who are you going to name your children after? The next number 6 is really great. It's a verb used, okay? Used. And it's always followed by a verb in the infinitive, like I used to live, I used to have, I used to play, I used to love. Used to describes an action or actions that happened in the past that are no longer true. So if I said to you, I used to live in Montreal, you know that I don't live there now, which is true because I'm in Vancouver. I used to have really long hair when I was a kid. When I was in high school, I used to play volleyball all the time. Volleyball, pretty fun. Next one is to go through a phase. So in life, we often go through phases. It means we experience a period of time when our behavior or our tastes, our likes and dislikes are different. Often in life, we go through multiple phases, especially in our youth. I'll give you a few examples. When I was really young, I went through a phase where I refused to wear a dress. So for 6 months, I said, "No way, Mom, I am not wearing a dress. Don't even try it." Later on, I went through a phase where I listened to a lot of punk rock. And then later, I went through a phase where I was quite rebellious. It's not true. I was always an angel. The next one, number 8, is a phrasal verb. And you can use this in many aspects of your life, not just your childhood or your youth, but it's to be into something. So this phrasal verb means to enjoy or be interested in. And we can use it to talk about our childhood, because when we were younger, we were really interested in things that maybe we're not interested in anymore. A few examples. When I was younger, I was really into horseback riding. Or I was really into listening to music and making mixed tapes. What's a mixtape? Google it. And number nine, part of your life is probably a normal or a life stage, is you live with your parents for a long part of your childhood. And then as you become an adult, maybe once you get a job or you move to a new city to go to school, maybe to get married, or maybe because you're in a serious relationship, you leave your parents' home. So you could use the phrasal verb move out. To move out means to change your home, to move your home from one home to another. So for example, I grew up in Montreal and Ottawa, and when I was about to start university, I moved out to go to school. It means I left my parents' home and became more independent, to move out. And number 10, this is kind of a summary to talk about in general your childhood. If someone says, "Tell me a little bit about your childhood," or "What kind of childhood did you have?" You could say, "I had a childhood." Now you can fill in the blank with any adjective that would best describe your childhood. I had a very adventurous childhood. I had a great childhood. I had a pretty good childhood. I had a difficult childhood. I had a hard or tough childhood. So you can sum up the whole idea of everything you experienced using that phrase. I had a childhood. How about you? What kind of childhood did you have? So those are my 10 different ways you can talk about your childhood and your youth. Make sure you start using them in your English. To help you, I've created a freebie where you'll get all these phrases, plus some really short question and answers that you can use to practice talking about your childhood. As in, where did you grow up? I grew up in blank, and you fill in the blank. Or, did you play sports? Well, actually, I used to ... You fill in the blank. So make sure you get your freebie by clicking the links below. My name is Nessa. This is ESL Top 10. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, join our awesome community here, and hit like if you found this video helpful. See you next time, right back here.